Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at a powerful Amoonguss team here for the Great League Remix Cup. It got me up to over 2,900 MMR as well. And so let's take a look at it while we're gonna encounter in the first battle the hardest answer I could ask for. Scissor in the Great League Remix Cup. Maybe the opponent just went into the wrong cup or whatever. I did not expect to see this Pokemon at all. But what I can say as well, I won most of my battles with this team, like a lot of the battles. And most of the battles that I didn't win were battles that I could have won if I played it better and if I paid more attention. I was watching some TV with my girlfriend at the same time. So yeah, that was definitely an experience because this team was actually amazing. Like if I would mostly use this team for the rest of the week here, of course, I mostly would be able to hit Legend with it, I would imagine. Like this team was so strong. Carbing was so strong. We're running Rock Slide over Power Gem. Main reason for this is I just still don't have Charge Gems. Like I don't really see also a way of really building them up currently because there are a lot of Pokemon that I kind of want to check out different movesets and whatever. It is just tough, I know. Do you have the same problem as well as I do? Because like I have literally none of them. I have a lot of fast gems, but I don't have any charge gems at all. So hopefully Niantic going to help us out eventually with this kind of problem. I know that a lot of other people struggle with it as well, but here we're going to be able to win the battle already. What I have to say as well, Venusaur was amazing. Venusaur was amazing, Carbing was amazing, Amoonguss was amazing. They all did kind of their role here, even though we encountered quite a lot of tough Pokemon to deal with. And one of them is going to be Piloswine, actually a Pokemon I want to take a look at anyway. The cool thing about Piloswine is you're going to be able to beat the core of Toxapex and Diggersby in the main, like, Great League, which is kind of funny. So, like, this Pokemon has some potential with that one. But generally speaking, it's a very nice attacking Pokemon, so you might gonna see some gameplay with this Pokemon eventually as well. The issue with Piloswine for me personally is it doesn't really look great on thumbnails. So that's one of the reasons why I barely really use this Pokemon. But I think Piloswine is a great one to go for in the current meta. Here's one of the big benefits of also our little mushroom boy. The amount of times I was able to get out a Drifblim, a ghost type Pokemon generally speaking, because I think, oh, ghost types are good against poison type Pokemon. It was hilarious. Like this Pokemon was so strong. Amoonguss worked out so well for me. And look at this matchup now. We're gonna see the Piloswine coming back in. They're gonna swap on to the Poliwrath. I was able to keep a charge move stored on my own the Carbing there. And with this, the opponent has no way of really winning this battle here. They would need to get up to a high horsepower and the Avalanche. I don't think you can actually store them at the same time anyway. Look, great lead for me here. This was a little bit of an unfortunate matchup as far as I remember. What we're going to see here as well is that I'm going to no shield, of course, this one. And I think I had a little bit of lag here. But I don't think you really saw that there as well. It's sped up at the end of the day. But definitely not ideal to go for the CMP tie here. I want to go for the Rock Slide a little bit earlier. But it is what it is. Now I can undercharge to get a little bit of energy again. But at least we're going to get rid of Ariados, which would be a little bit tricky for the backline. In comes the Registeel. Oh yeah, this was like one of those battles where I really played it bad, just generally speaking. That is totally on me. I guess, like, again, I could have maybe even played better with the Carbing matchup already. In comes now the Warrain, which is a bit tricky, but I kind of would like to keep this Pokemon here right now for later on. I think it was a mistake to go for a shield here. I do really think it was a mistake because I kind of underestimate, of course, also the pacing of the Warrain. Warrain is going to be able to get to the move here quite fast again. And now I let the move go through, which doesn't really make too much sense either. So I don't really know what I was trying to do here. But for example, if I had like the energy from just farming down the Ariados, would have been fine. I over-farm here as well because I expected the opponent to go for a charge move anyway. Like, why did I do this? It doesn't make any sense at all. And like this, I can still get to another charge move. Literally, I threw the game away. If I went for the Rock Slide early on, I would have won the battle. If I would have free farmed down the Ariados, I would have won the battle. It is really bad on how I played this one, and sadly I'm going to get two-shot by the opponent's Registeel, so we're going to forfeit here. That was totally on me, like that was guaranteed on me. Nothing to do really with the team, nothing to do really with the matchup or anything like this. That was just a loss that I took based on how I played. Anyway, I'm going to be able to catch a move here, double resisted move as well. And look at this, we're going to be able to bait out the opponent's Steelix, which is not as ideal as it might seem, because again, we're going to actually be able to do neutral damage with our fast move on the Venusaur anyway, so there is not really a big benefit of it. But I still take it. I will still take the damage that we can go for here as well, and they still may be forced to go for a charge move, which they do. I will let the move go through, and I could even decide to go for a full fast move down with Carbing, because Carbing does double resist the fast move from the opponent. Even if they want to go for the Earthquake here, I still would be able to easily take it, as we are Carbing. Carbing can just take any kind of super effective hit. I'm actually surprised on how many Earthquake Steelix I have been facing here today, because like usually the more ideal moveset for this Pokemon would not be Earthquake, but here we're gonna see also the Shadow variant of Bastion in the back, and as they're not gonna go for the swap, I can even overfarm by a little bit, which is great. I can even go for now for a Frenzy Plant with my Venusaur, get the shield from the opponent. They're still debuffed by one stage as well from that Moonblast. And we can overfarm a lot after this charge move from the opponent as well. Flamethrower, of course, we're going to be forced to go for a shield against. We can go for another charge move here against the opponent as well. We still have some energy left, which is great. They're very likely going to swap out eventually here as well, trying to catch a move. That's why I kind of predict. But they're actually not going to do that. They decide to stay in here for a little bit, go for the Flamethrower again. Now we're shieldless, and they're going to swap out now into the Whimsicott. We can go for that Sludge Bomb. That's what I expected. I was wondering when they're going to swap out into this Pokemon. We can KO this thing. We can go ahead, go for that big Frenzy Plant against the opponent's Bastion, and this is going to be enough to knock them out with a few more windups. Whiscash. This lead is of course horrible, but we're going to have our great save swap of Amoonguss getting out nothing. No one. They don't want to swap. They were not too shocked about me having a grass type that doesn't have grass type fast move coverage, but they're going to swap out now into the Licky. And you might think, oh no, Astonish, being double resisted, such a bad matchup. If you're the Shadow variant here, you definitely threaten them a little bit with the charge move of Grass Knot, and in like those neutral scenarios, you're actually going to be able to get a shield advantage in like the zero shield scenario, like that you would be able to win against a Licky if you just go head to head against this Pokemon, which is really cool. So Amoonguss has a lot of play, and here as you can see, they're running Shadow Ball and Earthquake on their Licky. It's something actually I talked about recently in a video as well, saying that this might be an interesting idea. And look, we're getting completely hardwalled the entire game here right now. We had a hardwall in the lead, we had a hardwall as a safe swap, we have now a hardwall in the back there as well, and with the Drifblim against our grass type Pokemon. But I am not gonna give up here. I am not giving up at all. There is still a way of winning this battle, and I'm gonna try to find this way. So what we're gonna see here is that the opponent is gonna decide to go for a charge move. It is not worth it for me to use a shield here. I'm too low to do really anything with this Pokemon, and so they decide to swap out now into the Whiscash. I can go for the bait. I have to get the shield here to have a chance though. We do get the shield, and with this we're going to have a ton of energy still left. We're gonna be able to go for a shield here as well. We have to hope that we're still gonna be able to outspeed them, and we can outspeed them, and this should be enough to knock them out. It's a stab Moonblast from a fairy type Pokemon against a shadow Pokemon. It is going to be enough, and the Drifblim is even gonna go down here as well. And this is the cool thing about this team. Even if you get hardwalled, a lot of times you have some play to still figure stuff out. Here we're gonna have a Steelix against us, and you might think, oh, why is he staying in? Why is he going to go for a Moonblast? Steelix can be a bit of a tricky Pokemon for us to deal with, for sure. It is a tough one. It is not like a bad Pokemon to deal with, generally speaking, but it is tough because of that Psychic Fang. Psychic Fang is just super effective onto our Poison type Pokemon in the back here, which is not really ideal. But yeah, also of course we have 2 grass type Pokemon and 1 rock type Pokemon, which is usually not ideal against steel type Pokemon. Here against Steelix it's a bit different. You're going to be able to at least do neutral damage, and here I'm just going to decide, I already saw basically the lead Pokemon, which is going to be that Ninetales. I would be able to also knock them out with just like 1 Sludge Bomb here. So like I don't really care too much about what is going to happen next. We have to be a bit careful about our health though, because if the opponent is going to be able to get us low enough, like it's going to be a little bit tricky, but as you're going to see, they're going to swap out here now into the Bastion, allowing us to go for some Frenzy Plants, and this damage is needed. This damage is a must-have for us, as you will see here as well. We're going to be able to go for another Frenzy Plant with a Venusaur. Super underrated Venusaur right now. Like this Pokemon is so much better than people expect. Like it always been basically underrated in my opinion. I think Venusaur is one of the biggest underrated Pokemon for Pokemon Go PvP. Maybe make a video about like the top underrated Pokemon. I feel like Venusaur would be one of them. I don't really see a lot of people talk about it, but every single time I use it, it is very, very good. And yeah, definitely not as hyped as it maybe should be. Here we're going to be able to go for the full farmland, which is important because we need to get this Moonblast off against the Bastion to put them into range for 1 Frenzy Plant. And this was literally on that 1 HP in a dream, which is really, really great for us, as we can now knock them out and win the battle. Next opponent, Clefable. Clefable, recently I've seen a lot of spice around Clefable. I see people actually running Swift and Media Mesh instead of Moonblast, especially in the lead, because people kind of expect that if they're going to have a Pokemon that's weak to Fairy type moves, they're going to swap out anyway, and otherwise they rather have the coverage. And so I would not be too shocked if this Pokemon going to have Media Mesh here, which it does, and now they're going to be able to align themselves which is quite annoying, but it's still something that we maybe can deal with. But again, I don't really play all the matchups perfectly here either. As you're gonna see, I decided to go into the Venusaur and was like, this should have enough energy to go for another Meteor Mash. They go for the Swift, and now I can try to go for another charge move here. I can overform by a little bit, and let's see what they're gonna have next. It's going to be a Meteor Mash, and so we are in a very tough spot. We are in a horrible spot here, I would say. Like, what is really going to happen here next? The opponent going to have another good answer against us. You have to be very mindful of what they're going to have in the back. We're going to have the Rock Slide here now, but they're of course going to go for the Earthquake on the CMP tie. I predicted this one, and so I went for a little bit over. But as we will see here, it's not going to be an ideal matchup either, as we will see here as well. The Rock Slide is coming through, going to get the knockout. But can we still deal with whatever they have in the back? It's going to be the Dusknoir, and I'm like, that's going to be a bit tough. I could go for the Moonblast. Most likely would knock them out from this range as well already with this move, but they decided to go for the Shadow Ball. It doesn't knock me out. They're going to swap out now. I can swap out now, and I have a Moonblast stored. I still have some energy here, and Frenzy Plant is going to be enough. And this is going to be a very good game. Good game to the opponent. We can move on to the next opponent. At this point, I want to say again, thanks so much for even watching the video. Of course, we still have a lot of battles left here, but I really appreciate that you take some time off here to watch my content. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for that one. Of course, if you want to support me as well for free, there's the option to leave a like and subscribe to this content here as well. So it's free. Would be really nice. But anyway, we're going to see the Drifblim getting farmed down by Amoonguss, and this is like the main reason why Amoonguss is such a cool save swap. It is basically having the coverage that people will not expect. Like, a lot of times people want to go into, I don't know, like their ghost type Pokemon to counter those potential poison type moves here from a poison type Pokemon, but you don't even run the poison type damage. We're just having good coverage on it. And here the opponent catches the move onto the War Rain. I actually undercharge as well a little bit just to get a little bit more energy first. I can swap out, and with that I have energy stored. I win the CMP tie against the opponent's Nidoqueen, and they decide to forfeit. Okay, we're going to have one of the toughest matchups here for us. It's going to be the Pangoro. Pangoro is tricky. We're going to have a Rock type against a Flying type Pokemon after all. Yes, we're going to be a Fairy type, but we don't have Fairy type fast move damage, which makes this a very tough matchup for us. They had -4 defense now though, which is going to be okay for us. We can go for the Rock Slide. We're very likely going to be able to force a shield from the opponent here as well, which is cool, and they swap out into the Tentacruel. And I kind of froze, because I did not really know what to do, and here, this is completely a mistake by me watching television at the same time. So, sorry about this one. You should never go for a shield tech. There's no reason to go for a shield there. It was just me not paying attention. It's not even like me being like, oh, I predicted something that didn't happen or anything like this. No, I just didn't pay attention. Like, it's literally all it is. But maybe we can still come back from this, which is, of course, putting us in a quite difficult spot, especially as the opponent now was able to even farm us down here. This would have never happened if I just paid attention to the battle. So, sorry about this one. But we're going to have a Drifblim here against us. And now we're going to have a Foul Play against the Drifblim. And this would knock them out if they let the move go through, most likely. Which they do. And so, yeah, Pangoro is now up against our little Amoonguss. I can go ahead, stop out, go for a Rock Slide, and I still have the Foul Play stored. In order for them to knock me out here, they kind of be forced to go for the Close Combat, or are they? I'm not too sure, but look at the opponent's health. It's already low. There's just one issue. Foul Play is double resisted. Both Fighting as well as Dark is resisting Foul Play. Amoonguss just doesn't care. Next up, Alone Ninetales against us. Very nice lead for us. They swap onto the Sidrai. I can swap out into the Amoonguss, and this is usually a very solid matchup for us. And honestly, I feel like I misplayed again, but let's take a look at this one. We're going to see the Spirit Checker coming through, and I can go for the Foul Play, which would most likely knock them out. I should have most likely just went for the full farm down here, but now they can fully farm down me. And what are we going to do next? I'm going to go ahead and go into my Venusaur. I let the move go through. And Frenzy Plant is coming through, doing double resisted damage, all fine so far. I should go for the Frenzy Plant here, by the way. A Frenzy Plant should be enough. But I decided to go ahead and go for the Sludge Bomb, revealing that they're going to be, able to, they're very likely going to be weak against me in the back. And I'm curious about something, which I'm going to check out real quick on the side. Because as you're going to see here, I'm going to be able to go for one more Frenzy Plant. And let's see what they're going to have in the back. It is going to be the Bastiodon, and I decide, as I don't get to the move here, to forfeit the battle, but I'm curious if I still would have been able to win this one. So I'm going to check real quick on the side what the carving matchup is, so if we have a one shield advantage against the Bastiodon, but I'm fairly certain we still would have lost. yeah, we still would have lost the battle. So like there was no way really for me to win this battle at this point anymore. I just misplayed it, to be fair. I just misplayed it. I kinda didn't judge the situation as I should have, but that's fine. We're going to have another Pangoro here. Again, a horrible matchup for us, but they stop out again into a Drifblim. Like, man, Drifblim is not an answer for Amoonguss. And this is like the hilarious thing. People just panic. People always panic when you swap into a Pokemon that the typing they're kind of aware of and they know it, but they don't know which Pokemon has the typing at the end of the day. You see the typing first in like the top right corner before you really see the Pokemon appearing. Yes, you would see the name as well, but like it's easier to kind of react based on a typing than based on a name. And so here, as you're gonna see, we're going to have a great matchup. The opponent can still go for another charge move. As long as they don't boost, we should be able to win the battle here. Of course there's going to be a boost. Of course there's nothing we can really do about it. As we will see as well, there's going to be a Course Combat coming through, and we can swap out now into our Venusaur. And without that boost, we would have been easily able to win the battle. But we don't know what's in the bag yet, as they're still going to be able to go for another Night Slash. It's game over. Like, it's game over. The opponent gets a stab, double boosted Night Slash off against us, and they're going to have a Quillfish in the back. Like, how are we supposed to be able to win the battle now? They're going to have still the option to survive this one. They can go for a knockout here with a Awkward Tail. We have a little bit of lag here as well. So now it's down to Carbing, but I think they have another Awkward Tail stored. Do they? They don't. And so we're actually going to be able to win this final battle. And again, this team got me up to 2,900 MMR. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.